I'm Tabitha Williams, and welcome to What's Eating Harlem. We cover the most exciting community in the world. There's so much happening in Harlem. Let's get started.
We've all worked together. We've started in a certain place and come together, and I've watched a lot of my staff grow, and they're like a part of my family.
We're here at Gaudir, a new and interesting Spanish-style restaurant popping up in East Harlem. They serve tapas, which are plates to share.
Everything about this branch was done with the community in mind.
Meet Harlem's banker, Nicole King. She is the Chase Community Manager at Chase Harlem Community Bank. This branch is the first of its kind, focusing exclusively on community banking. Renaissance to Renaissance. Our new series will cover the history of the Harlem Renaissance, starting in 1900 to today's emergence of a new Harlem Renaissance. And our fascinating historian, Lana Turner, will take us on this journey. All that and more coming up next. We're here at Gaudir, a new and interesting Spanish-style restaurant popping up in East Harlem. They serve tapas, which are plates to share.
Alexandra Moras, founder of Tastings NYC and SoFlo, co-partners of Mountain Bird and Gaudir.
Alexandra, how did you get your start in the culinary arts business?
I started about 20 some odd years ago. Well, actually, I worked in advertising. I was in marketing for many years. And the evenings, I used to work in restaurants, and I really enjoyed that. And then I started working at a restaurant called Payard. And during that time, I started to do events and start my catering company out of that.
And then starting your catering company, how did that lead to becoming a co-founder and 2 restaurants here in East Harlem?
Little by little, fast forward, we found this building here in East Harlem. We were looking here to put our kitchens and our offices, and we found this establishment on 110th Street. So we started with the catering, and then we started a restaurant called Mountain Bird here, which now moved to 111th Street. And I worked with Ken and Keiko, who Ken was my catering chef for many years. And then after they moved, then Cedric Durand, who now is I'm co-partners with for Gaudir, opened in this space with his modern Spanish tapas. So we've all worked together for many years.
And for you, I know that you love working here in these restaurants in East Harlem. What about your staff? Is it something that the staff is involved in as well, or?
We're very family oriented. We've been, all of us, working together for some of the people I'm working with 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. We've all worked together. We've started in a certain place and come together, and I've watched a lot of my staff grow, and they're like a part of my family. So I get very attached to people I'm working with.
And East Harlem is the place where everyone comes together.
East Harlem is the place. They're all coming together in East Harlem. And a lot of my staff is moving in this area as well. It's really, I mean, our block is really nice. We're on 110th Street between 2nd and 3rd. And I don't know, people are so nice. It's a really nice community. People are very respectful. It's just a different energy here in Harlem.
Here we go. So you're having over here seta salabasca. So mixed mushroom, egg yolk, and foie gras. So you need to mix everything together.
Can you do me the honors of mixing this?
Of course.
I want to make sure I do this right.
Yeah, it's not very complicated. You just mix it.
It smells so good.
It smells amazing.
And some pea shoot for some green. Here we go.
Delicious.
Okay.
Enjoy.
After you.
All right. Well, no, this is tapas. Let's go in.
Okay.
I want to make sure I get a nice bite of everything. So, have some greens, have some mushroom. I have some of the egg yolk.
Egg yolk. Foie gras.
Let me move the spoon out the way. Gotta make sure we get in here good. And you beat me to it. And the foie gras. This looks so good. Here we go. Don't judge me if it's a big bite. The flavor and the textures are so amazing. I can taste the garlic, a little bit of the salt, and the foie gras is just bursting in my mouth. It's so juicy.
Yeah, caramelization. Delicious.
And the egg yolk, I can't taste it, but I know it's there. Very delicious.
Delicious.
Here we go.
Wow.
The fideuà with
Look at
squid ink
this.
and big shrimp from Argentina. Enjoy. And some aioli, of course.
Now,
So you take
okay.
like one, and after you take the aioli and you mix it on your plate. So it's gonna get creamy.
It is. Okay,
Yeah.
so this, I'm just looking
Enjoy.
like, wow,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna begin. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This looks like a straight masterpiece. Like,
Yes, and it's so good, the crunchiness, and it's all chopped. The noodles, take it.
it's beautiful. I'm just gonna go in.
Be careful, it's hot.
I know. Okay, we're just gonna start here. Chef said to mix it and it gets creamy, so I'm gonna mix this section.
Steamy. Yum.
Okay. Let's mix this section here for you as well. We're doing this together.
Thank you.
So what I'm mixing is the aioli sauce, and this beautiful black texture is coming from the squid ink. And I mean, look at these. Now, I'm always torn. Is it prawns or colossal shrimp? Either way, they're beautiful and they're large, and it's going in my stomach. All right, I'm going to plate mine real quick. These are the noodles that we spoke about in the kitchen. Thank you. I definitely needed an extra hand for this.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll get yours together.
Serve you a shrimp.
Oh. Wow.
Beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. We gotta get yours together too. I mean, I'm not eating this alone, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh. Get it together, girl. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope I didn't make a mess just now. And your shrimp.
Thank you.
Okay. So, let's dig in.
Let's try. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit, what is it in Spanish? Bon provencia?
It's
I may not have said that right. Either way, we're gonna enjoy this. Okay. I'm going in for my noodles and this,
wow, so good.
the flavoring.
The crunchiness.
The noodles are al dente, and then it really does have a creamy flavoring. It's absolutely delicious. I don't want to say it's Alfredo, but it gives you the consistency of like Alfredo, and the nice little texture of the noodles and this flavoring. I can't even put my hands on it. It's just wow. I'm enjoying this.
Delicious.
All right, let's go in for the shrimp. What are you still doing here? I'm going in for my shrimp and my meal. I'll catch you later.
You can go ahead. Ooh, I really don't care.
Scene 103, take one.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not. How do I know the way I'm gonna respond to it?
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
What if you end up in the hospital? That's what I'm scared of.
If you was to die, man, that would literally kill me, man.
I hug you.
Yes. If it made you feel that way, bro, I'll probably do. I love you. I love you too.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
The area is changing by the minute. Here at the Chase Harlem Community Bank, they are giving the neighborhood tools to thrive.
Nicole King, Community Manager for JP Morgan Chase.
Nicole, can you tell me about the branch that you work at?
Sure, we are in the first ever community branch for JP Morgan Chase.
And so what does that mean, community branch?
This is the first of its kind. This branch offers very unique community programming for community residents. So we host workshops for small businesses. We also allow local small businesses to do pop-ups in the space where they can showcase their products and or services and meet new customers.
A lot of times people are a little hesitant when it comes to banks, and they are not sure about fees or, how much is going to be taken away, how much do I actually have to put forward. Can you speak to how this branch is really helping the community?
Absolutely. So about a year ago, when we reimagined this space, we sat around with some community leaders as well as elected officials and quite frankly asked them for their support and what the community needed. And one of the things that they shared with us is that the community needed help, particularly the small business community, with resources in teaching them how to operationalize their business in the face of this growing Harlem market.
With those resources, what type of businesses are you already helping and developing?
Startups actually come through these doors, so if you're a startup business and you want to learn how to do financial projections, we have workshops for that. If you're a business and let's say you're a growing business and you need funding, you can actually meet with a small business specialist and they're actually walk you through what they do and the different types of services and funding that we do offer for your business.
And let's speak about this reimagined space. When you walk down 125th, which is where the bank is located, it's really amazing. It's all glass and there's colors, and can you just tell us what was the whole vision behind that? Why was this done?
Everything about this branch was done with the community in mind. We actually took a lot of artifacts from the Harlem community and actually put it in the branch. We actually commissioned Susan Spannon from the community to put portraits up of members of the community in the branch, as well as team members. But what we are really excited about is that pretty soon that we're going to be highlighting a lot of businesses on the murals that reach certain milestones in their business.
And when people come in and they're looking at this mural, will they recognize any of the faces?
Pretty soon they will be able to, because we'll have a lot of business owners from the community up on the wall. We also have a vault that used to be our vault. It is now a Harlem museum, so you'll see panels from Billie Holiday's Brownstone in the vault. You'll see a repurposed table that was from a former bowling alley in the community. So yeah, we pay homage to Harlem throughout the space.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. We're so excited to host you in this amazing space. And without further ado, I will introduce our partner from Home Lending, Kevin Kershang. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Melvin, for the introduction. And thank you, Melvin, very much for your leadership. Getting this really unique and important branch up and off the ground for Chase.
Speaking about events held within this space, I was truly honored to be a part of your panel that was held here, speaking about serving the Harlem community. Can you just tell our viewers more about it?
Oh yes, well first of all, thank you for being part of the event. We did an event where we brought in residents from the community and spoke about home ownership. And you know, when you purchase in Harlem, you're not just buying a piece of property, you're actually buying history, right? So the event was, you know, home buying in Harlem.
Well, with the architecture and the history, it helps to connect us to our past, to our ancestors, to those people that were here before us. We feel a sense of greatness because the people that were here, people like Langston Hughes or Romeo Bearden, they've lived in some of the buildings that we've purchased or some of the buildings that we just live in. And when you walk into a space and you know that greatness was there before you, it builds a sense of culture and it makes you feel good about being in that space. And it's a space that it makes you want to preserve because of the people that were there before you.
I just moved back to Harlem about 2 years ago. After living in Teaneck for about 15 years, the kids went to Teaneck High School. I didn't even know who my neighbors were. But when I live in Harlem, everybody's playing music in the morning. Everybody's like, "Hey, big guy, hey, what's going on?" It's like just happiness, you know. I mean, when I go to other communities, I mean, nobody talks to anybody, even if you live across the hall, let alone be in the street. So I think it's really like a sense of pride and happiness when you come out on a Saturday morning to get a cup of coffee and everybody knows who you are. You feel safe if somebody's following you down the street because every neighbor's like, "Hey, what's going on over there? You okay?" I'm 6'6", but hey, it's still pretty good to know. But you know, that's just what I think. I think it's a beautiful thing. People are beautiful, and it's just happy out there.
Tabitha, tell me a little bit about Harlem as an international tourist destination.
This is such a funny question because as I was mingling, I spoke to this lovely couple and we were saying how Harlem is its own entity. I grew up hearing not just Harlem for the history that it has, but also thanks to rap music, it's referred to as Harlem World. Right? So we look at it as being its own world. Like when you say Harlem, everybody's supposed to know, I'm talking about this place right here. It doesn't matter whether I'm in Amsterdam where they have Harlem or even in Harlem itself, the actual place around the world. I'm talking about the circumference of community that I've grown up in and that I've learned to love. So it's an international attraction because of its history, because of the music that comes out of it, because of the people. And I think it stays because the people here, we all have a sense of community.
Just having the panelists there, what was the feedback of the night?
Oh, it was, so many people loved it. I mean, after the event, I got so many emails thanking me and my team for putting on such a wonderful event and educating the community about home ownership and home ownership opportunities within Harlem. And I partnered with my Chase Home Lending team, and they did a fantastic job presenting to the community how Chase can help individuals that are in the market for a home.
Where would you like to see things go or grow?
Sure. So we are continuing this impact across the country. We're going to actually open more community spaces in Oakland, in Chicago, in Atlanta. So yeah, this model is scaling out across the country because of its impact that it's having here in Harlem.
And how important is it for Chase to be intertwined with the community in which it's located?
Yes. So we love the communities in which that we serve. We do understand that we just don't open up a branch, and this is not a place where we just hold your deposits. We actually really give back to the community, and it's built into our DNA.
And when someone's coming to this branch and they're looking for Harlem's banker, who would present themselves?
Me, Nicole King.
And why do they call you Harlem's banker?
I've been in this community for a very long time. It has always been an honor of mine to serve this community and to teach finance in this community. And from a very long time ago, people began to refer to me as Harlem's banker because I am a trusted advisor, and people know me from the community because I also live here.
And what does Harlem mean to you?
Harlem means culture, Harlem means love, Harlem means community, Harlem means support.
Hi, I'm Jen Jade, and I love What's Eating Harlem.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
TGIF. Can you imagine 30 million people walking around sexually frustrated because they can't get to their porn?
You're looking at one right now. I'm gonna say this.
Every weekday.
I'll never live in Texas again. It's the worst.
What's your favorite porn, Armand?
Oh, I'm not getting into that. My God.
On Fox Soul.
Now, what's yours?
And listen, don't judge me, okay? Massage porn.
That's boring now. Give me a good three-way gang.
Oh, I knew it was going to come out.
Yes, yes.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Taking flight on this electric ride. World sees us tonight. We're lightning bolts in the sky. Flashing with.
I'm here with Miss Lana Turner, a student in Harlem culture. She's taking us on a special journey in a segment we're calling Renaissance to Renaissance, starting with the establishment of our beloved Harlem.
let's get to the moment at which the English are mad because George Washington has defeated them. And in their anger, they have burned the village of Harlem. They have just left it in smolders. That happens, it takes a couple of decades for Harlem to become the beginnings of what you know of buildings being built. 1811, the city fathers decide to make Manhattan a grid. The grid means they have decided on cutting the island up into plots, into nice, neat, thorough ways. So you get avenues and you get streets. What makes the difference is that in 1832, there is a train, the one that you know now. It's the Harlem, New York and Harlem River line. It runs Park Avenue all the way up, and it does something interesting. It unifies the city. And because the transportation is key, transportation unifies the city, but it creates something else in Harlem. It creates an east and a west. So think about Park Avenue. Most of that train is now underground. But think of 125th Street and Park Avenue, where the train goes, you know, north.
Yeah, the Metro North there.
Okay, that's the train. And that was a train in 1832. First, it was above ground. Now, by the time you know it, it's below ground, except for when it comes up at 125th Street and goes north. Okay, so that's the first thing. And what happens is that you have to picture there were large houses and mansions in Harlem on the east side. But the minute you get the train, what happens is that you now get industry, factories, and they outpace the idea behind this big, sprawling, lovely houses and farmland. It's no more. But what happens in Central Harlem and West Harlem is that is the thing that spurs single-family houses. That's where you start getting brownstones, because developers say, aha, the train. It now links, you know, we can now get from the busy part of Manhattan to the suburb. This was considered the suburb. To answer your question, Harlem was considered a suburb. And if you want to expand that vision of suburb in the early 1800s, I'm going to get you 100 years quickly. But if you consider the 1800s, think about Alexander Hamilton's house. It was finished in 1802. Hamilton's like a big deal because we know about the show and this, that, and the other. People come see the house. But he had far more land than the house would indicate at today.
And that's still looking like farmland with these...
No, it's his country estate.
It's just an estate with large-scale homes.
Most people are still living in lower Manhattan. That's where the business is. But when he builds this house in Harlem, this is considered the country in 1800s.
It's so hard to conceive it.
You're trying to get me to the 1900s.
I know.
And if I don't tell you what happened in between, it's hard to imagine, well, how did it come from this to this, you know? So if you know that in 1802, he had finished his country estate, and there were many others that were also here, it gives you in your mind a different feeling for what was happening in Harlem. So by the time, remember, his house was finished in 1802, and I said that the grid that the city fathers put together was in 1811. So they didn't come up here and start knocking down mountains right away. They weren't doing that right away.
It took time.
It took time. But the reason it even started to accelerate was because of the train on Park Avenue.
That's all the time we have for now. But join us next time on What's Eating Harlem. See you uptown.
Us tonight, we're lightning bolts in the sky, flashing with thunder, and it's beautiful all over.